Hello and welcome to episode 11 of Agents of Clix, a bi-weekly show on everything Heroclix. My name's Sean and I'm joined as usual by Christopher Dunn.
Hello.
And the two-time UK National Heroclix champion, Dale DeAndrade.
Hello.
You got your full title this time, Dale.
Are you going to say that every time?
I'm going to say that every
Really?
time. Yeah. How you doing? All right? We've, I think since the last show, which I wasn't on, we met up, didn't we? And we had a few practice sessions.
We did actually play games and everything.
Yeah, so it was fun. I got totally destroyed on every game I had, but that's par for the course.
Well, we were trying out the new rules
As
when
best we
were,
could
yeah,
remember.
It was fun. It was good. We should do it again, though. We need to sort out another
We do.
date.
We'll sort that out.
Yeah. So normally we'd kick off with news, but because What If is out in the States and released next week, I believe, over here, we're going to do a mini set review. So we've picked two figures from each rarity, with the exception of Chase, where we've just picked the one. How do you guys want to do this? Do you just want to start and then just do one of each rarity and then go round table?
Should we just kick off just do each rarity? So we'll go, Chris, you do your commons, and then we can go on from there and just, rather than one, we'll rush through them. Because there's a lot to talk about.
Okay, yeah, no bother. Yeah. So Chris, do you want to start or?
Yeah. Just before I start, I'll apologise for my voice. I'm a bit croaky. I've got allergies at the moment, so if I stop to blow my nose, I'll try and do it away from the microphone. So yeah, I'm going to start just with number 1, Spider-Man. Main reason I pick him just for hypersonic speed. He has a good 18 defense, hypersonic with 8. He can get his damage up to 4 if he's attacking at a lower elevation. He could do with an 11 attack. Unfortunately, he only has a 10, but he is only 55 points. So he's not a bad little secondary attacker there for the points.
Yeah, it's quite cheap for a hypersonic.
Yeah, there's not many cheaper. Well, obviously, you're looking at the Flash from Joker's Wild, which is probably better, but you might be able to get some mileage out of the wild card ability as well.
Yeah.
Anything else about that?
I think as you said, I think the only real way of getting anything exciting out of him is going to be by making sure he's got a wild card that's worth it. I think apart from that, I don't think he's all that great.
Well, you could probably say that about a lot of these commons, yeah. A lot of them are, as we'll go on, and uncommons and rares even. Some of them are not that fancy, really. They're doing sort of basic stuff.
I think for me the closest comparison would be with Harley Quinn, the roller skate version. And I think I'd probably have her for the extra points because the Plex is so useful.
Spider-Man's got some good improved movement as well, though. So if you can get him on say high elevation and swoop down, punch somebody and go back, then it'll be worth it. But anyway, so second one I'm gonna just mention is the number 2 100-point Iron Man, mainly because of his traits. He's got starts off with sidestep, invulnerability, range combat expert, 10-3. Second click is a 10-2. He's not that exciting dial, but his traits are quite nice. He's got a founding member trait, which I think a couple of other figures have in this set, where he's given a non-free move action. He isn't given an action total, so he can just move about without putting tokens on him. And he's got the Avengers team ability as well, so it's not taking up one of your actions as well. And his other trait is the variable repulsor blasts, but basically when he's making a range attack, he's got different effects he can choose from. So you can choose that it generates knockback, damage combat dealt reduced below 1, hit targets so given an action token, or he gets a bump on his attack value. So something like if you're doing a range combat expert and you're bumping up to say 11-4 and you put a token on them as well. That's quite decent. Don't know if you guys want to mention anything about him.
Not particularly, other than he's a nice around 100 points, and I think that's the only reason why you might see some play if this alternate Earth, other traits come into it. I think the Iron Punish is the only one who really stands out for it. But he's alright.
Yeah, that's... I can't remember now who else has got it. There's a lot of, like, alternate Iron Man, but I don't know...
The points that line up.
What the points are and things like that, yeah. But I think it's that found members trait, even if nothing else. He's just moving, he can carry somebody as well. So he's not getting an action token, and they're not getting an action token. So yeah.
That's alright.
Yeah.
Right, that's my commons.
Alright. Cool. Dale, do you want to go tell us what you picked?
Yeah, go on then. So I went with the Thor. Again, same trait, the founding member. He's 110 points. Has another trait, the Mighty Mjolnir, so he has Energy Explosion traded, which is great because he has 3 lightning bolts, 6 range. That's 3 lightning bolts isn't all that common anymore. He has a attack power throughout his dial, which gives him his damage dealt from attacks made by Thor can't be reduced by below his click number. So basically, by the time you get halfway through your dial, you're basically just doing whatever damage you got there, and there's nothing they can do about it really. Apart from that, he's just straight up couple of clicks running shot, couple of clicks sidestep. He's a bit expensive for what he does on his dial, but I think at 110 points with, again, the shifting alternate reality thing, I think he's a really good Thor. Just because you can use that founding member trait, get up, position as you like, and then pop to a more useful Thor if needs be.
Yeah.
My other one, common, I think. No, I've lost it. It was my other common. Dr. Stark, that was it.
009 Dr. Stark.
Dr. Stark,
yeah.
45 points, straightforward. 18 defense with willpower for a couple of clicks, 16 defense with combat reflexes for the other 2, prop control on all 4. His numbers are pretty naff, other than he has basically 18 defense all the time. Plasticity on all but the last click, and mystics. I just think he's really nice to have because I really highly rate, in Avengers teams in particular, the 45 point starter set Iron Man from the Civil War movie. I think he's just going to become a staple in the kind of wheelie rush Avengers. And of all 50 points there, she's got leadership with an extra little trait on it. And then if you don't need the running shot, or if you're halfway down your dial, you can just change this Dr. Stark and make use of the prob control. Just an extra option. He's alright, really.
Yeah. He's got mystics as well. So.
Yeah, he's got mystics. I mean, it's just a case of if you get, say for example, the one I'm referring to, if you get that Captain America down to his last click, I think he's got 3 clicks long on that dial, just swap over to Dr. Stark, make sure you kind of base someone. You've got 18 defense in close combat, probability control to keep yourself alive, plasticity to keep them there. It's like worst case, to kill you, they were going to do it anyway if you're that low, and you just get that mystic feedback for it. It's not a bad option. For me, it's just an extra option onto a starter set that I really like the dial for.
Cool. Well, my first common pick was number 11, Molly Hayes. Runaways Young Avengers keyword. She's got charge she's only 4 clicks long. Starts with 2 clicks of charge and then 2 clicks of sidestep. She has invincible for her first 2 clicks and then drops to toughness for her last 2. She has a special damage power all along her dial that says she can use close combat expert, but as a close combat action. When she does and hits, the target's knocked back 4 squares instead of any other knockback. So I think that would combo quite well. I mean, she is only 4 clicks long, but with having invincible on her top 2 clicks, it'll kind of hopefully make her last a little bit longer. But yeah, I quite like that character from the comic books anyway. I like the Runaways. So yeah, that was my pick. She has that trait as well that all the Runaways do. Once per turn, when Molly Hayes attacks, if she's adjacent to a friendly character with a Runaways or Young Avengers keyword, she can re-roll 1 dice of the attack roll. So they've all kind of got that. So that was my first pick. Yeah, yeah, second pick was another runaway, Chase Stein. I am a big Runaways fan, so that was basically the only reason I picked Chase. He's got sidestep on his first 2 clicks. Nothing else for the last 3. Has a special attack, first 3 clicks. Chase Stein can use Quake. When he does after actions resolved, choose 1 hit character and give that character an action token. Combat reflexes for first 3, and then special defense on his last 2. Toughness, and when he clears action tokens, you can heal him 1 click for every action token you remove. And he also has perplex on his top 3 clicks as well for 50 points. So yeah, that was my second pick of the commons.
Molly Hayes I really like. I think you're right that Invincible on the first couple of clicks is going to make 4 clicks feel more like 5 or 6, because no one's going to one-shot away a lot of the 4 click figures. Quite easy to do that. Chase Stein, not so much, not all that interesting. No. I don't think.
No. I mean, I picked it purely because he's a runaway. Yeah.
I just wish he had charge to begin with to make use of that Quake. I just think sidestep's just not enough to get it used, especially when he's got no improved movement. I think it's cute, but I mean, it's not enough.
I mean, that's one of the reasons I liked Molly, because she's got that close combat expert, but as a close combat action, and that will combo with that charge on her first 2 clicks, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
So charge, close combat expert, not bad. But yeah, I agree. Chase is he lacks movement really. He's just got that sidestep, and charge would have been better. But hey ho.
Only
you're probably wanting to like run him, carry him up, and plunk him down to try and tie somebody up really with combat reflexes. Maybe flex up his defense.
Yeah.
And then hope to get the Quake off next turn, but. Not probably sort of looking at him like overpriced perplex really.
Yeah, he is. Yeah, he is.
Well, I think I really like the Oni Hulk for 25 points. I think he's not great. I mean, 9 attack is poor, but if you're looking at 3 damage, potentially 5 with super strength for 25 points with 3 clicks of life, not even just the 1. That's a lot. I think for me, all of the commons are fine. None of them stand out as like game breaking. It's fine. It's a common. They're never going to be.
Yeah, they're common.
But I don't think any of them are like filler or trash like they usually are. I think everything shy of probably Chase Stein has some sort of place. And maybe Iron Lad, but even then, I think I like Iron Lad's trait to mastermind, and I'll be using that with Old List that we'll mention later.
Yeah. So do you want to move on to uncommons now, Chris? Do you want to tell us which 2 uncommons you picked?
Yes, if I can remember what they were. I was looking at
Punisher,
TV Spider-Man, which is 25. Who is 70 points. He's one of the 100 Spider-Man in this set. He starts off with sidestep for 3 clicks, and he's got super senses for just about his whole dial. Exploit, goes on to outwit. He's got a couple of traits and a stop click as well. He's improved movement, ignores elevated. He's got the agent to all the heroes, which I think is it just as a TV's Daredevil. Is there any more TV people in this set?
No, it's just 2 of them.
Just 2 of them, yeah. So he's got a Agent to the Stars trait where another friendly character is healed for 1 or more clicks. You heal TV Spider-Man, which is obviously combos nicely with a stop click. He has got the movie star trait, which I think the Daredevil has as well. When he's the first time each turn, when he's character without the celebrity or reporter keyword attacks him, he modifies attack by +2. If you do, you modify the attack value by -2. So he's quite a defendy guy. He's got 18 super senses up front. That's probably not a huge amount of people with celebrity or reporter keyword, so that'll generally be 20 with super senses. And he's just annoying more than anything, because he's got a high, he'll have his high defense, he'll have a stop click, and if you have any way of healing up somebody else, so you don't need to say support him, but if you're supporting somebody else, or somebody else is regen, or somebody else is using steel energy, or if you've got something like the Deadpool title character who can do it as one of his plot points, then Superman's you're gonna hit him eventually, get him on a stop click, and then he's gonna heal off it. So just annoying, really. He's obviously a wild card as well, so you can just hit reasonably hard, like 3 damage exploit to the top 2. As I say, it gets that wit as well, so he's not somebody you can ignore completely. My other one was the Uncommon Punisher.
Yeah.
Again, one of the hundreds of Punishers we're getting in the set. The main reason for this guy was just looking at options for, say, the Punisher van more than anything. And this guy is 50 points. He's got special attack power, a couple of clicks, and that was all I was really looking for. I was looking at having precision strike. Because when you're using, say, if you're using him with the Punisher van, most of your stats are given out by the weapons, really, so you're not really bothered about your range or your damage or anything like that. But the precision strike will combo with them. So he's 50 points. He's not a bad option for that. He doesn't do anything exciting, but he's reasonably sturdy. He's in Indom. He's got 6 clicks on, so he's not going to die too quickly.
He's just another one of those kind of low point, low impact kind of value pieces where he's got just so many clicks for so few points, and he just precision strike all the way down, like 10, 11 attack every click bar 1. It's like he's good. Just solid.
That's me.
So me then. So I'm going to mention the first one, who is pretty dull, straightforward. It's Iron Punisher. There's exactly one reason why you're playing him. He sits on your sideline. He's 100 points, and you just call him in if you have an Iron Man who's 100 points in your team, or a Punisher, but there isn't one. And you really need to hit. He has just the most obscene attack values. 12 attack on the first 2, 4 clicks of 11, and then 1 of 10 for 100 points. Nothing exciting, penetrating for the first 3 clicks, precision strike after that. But if you really need to drop a tank, have some penetrating damage, he just a couple of clicks of running shot and then just stands there, turns into a turret. Obscene attack values for his points and in dom, so he's just going to keep shooting things off. He's only got 3 damage in his first 2 clicks and 2 for the rest of his dial. But I mean, he's got a white square attack power. Did we free America? He KOs an opposing character. Other friendly characters get +1 damage for the rest of the turn. It's fine. He's also got the shield keyword, so you can put him on a level 7 if you really desperately want to hit something. Again, 100 points, just 12 attack. That's all he's got, really. The other uncommon I went for was the Captain Britain Iron Man. Again, another from an alternate Earth. You may be getting the gist of what I was going for here. I like the options in the set. His standout thing is every odd numbered click, so 1, 3, and 5, he has a running shot where he can take it as a free action if he has 2 action tokens. He does take 1 unavoidable damage and doesn't clear his action tokens for doing it. But if you've got the 55 point Iron Man from the last set, if you've got him there, he's pushed, but you really need to get the attack out. You've got the option there. It's all right. You can also pay either 55 points for him, in which case his first 2 clicks are invulnerability. Sorry, that's the one. Invulnerability, or 70 points to make those first 2 clicks be impervious instead. I just think I'm going to keep him on the sideline as 55 points and just swap out my Iron Man for him. And it gives me an option because I don't mind so much dropping down to the 45 point Dr. Stark if I need it. I think that's probably the best one, and I quite like that 55 point Iron Man anyway. I mean, he's perfectly fine, and that.
Yeah, I played him in our sealed draft on Monday. He's a really good figure, actually. 55 points.
He does a lot for. He's another one like that. Punisher just does a lot for 55 points. Nothing outright amazing. I mean, he's just solid numbers. Nothing huge, but just even everywhere. Constantly does things, and I like his little trait where he can do a more powerful regen once a game. That's going to be nice if you can get that up. But that's me for my own comments, I think.
Okay. well, my uncommons, I picked, my first one was Punisher of Shield, 90 points, has running shot on his first click, then sidestep for 2, then running shot for his last 2, precision strike all the way along his dial, 11 attack, drops to a 10, and then 9 on his last click. Special damage on his top click, saying when attacking only characters with a point value of 100 points or more, modify Punisher of Shield's attack and damage values by +1. When attacking only characters with a point value of 200 or more, modify both values by an additional +1. Probably not going to get the latter off. I cannot imagine, or very rarely getting, +2 to attack and +2 to damage because you're attacking a 200 point or more character. But, you never know. He has 2 traits. I'll bring the buildings down. When Punisher of Shield is KO'd, deal 3 damage to each character occupying an elevation other than elevation 1. And Shield Network. When Punisher of Shield makes a ranged attack, he may target a character within his range and line of fire of an adjacent friendly character named Punisher Squad. But yeah, he's just another, again, I like the Punisher. He has the shield team ability as well, so yeah, that's the only reason. Punisher fan, why not? Because we don't have enough Punishers in the game.
Well, we didn't, but now we do.
Yeah.
Overrun with them.
With tongue in cheek, yeah. My second pick of the uncommons was Carolina Dean.
Surprise.
Another runaway. Running shot, Pensai, drops to sidestep, and has pulse wave on her last 2 clicks. Special defense for first 3. Carolina Dean can use barrier and defend. When Carolina Dean or an adjacent friendly character are targeted by a range attack, modify the attacker's damage value by -1. And she has enhancement for her first 3 clicks as well, an energy shield for her last 2, and has that runaways trait that I mentioned earlier that both Molly and Chase have. 75 points for the Avengers TA. Nothing extraordinary, nothing stand outish for me, just another runaway. So yeah, that was my second pick.
I can't believe no one picked the Iron Man. He's just the 40 point Tony Stark.
Because he's rubbish.
He's awesome. He's awesome. We'll leave it at
I
that.
mean, I do want to put a disclaimer out there. I'm not picking figures that I consider to be the best in the set. Maybe later on.
Well, Iron Man, don't worry, Iron Man is not the best.
Not the best in the set, but he's great for 40 points. But let's move along to the res.
Well, he doesn't do anything apart from he gives +2. He's got enhancement times 2
That's enough for me.
for people with the armor keyword. That's 40 points, though. I might as well have 2 Henrys for that.
But that last click,
Which
you
is
only get
10
that once.
points.
And that's just...
No, once, yeah,
great.
right.
Right, moving on to res. Chris, do you want to go?
Okay. I've got another Punisher, I'm afraid.
Yay.
I thought the rares were like in this set. Normally the rares get some decent figures, but I'm quite disappointed with them. But anyway, I've got another Punisher. Guess what? For the Punisher van. He's got, because this guy's got 12 attack with precision strike, and I don't really care about the rest of it. He has got a trait that is give him a power action to place a decoy bystander next to an opposing character within range line of fire. Blah blah blah. Decoy gets killed, deals penetrating damage to each character adjacent to it, and I think the decoy's got
plasticity.
Shape change and plasticity.
Shape change, yeah.
I don't think you're going to use that very often because it's like a power action to place it, and if you're going to do that, why aren't you just attacking them?
The decoy's got a special attack as well.
Yeah, but it can pulse wave, but not immediately.
Yeah, if it wasn't placed on this turn. But it's only got 15 defense.
He's only got a 6 range, so if you're that close to somebody, sticking it, I don't really see, unless you really think you're going to tie them up.
Yeah.
I'm not convinced about it. Why you just attack it? If it was like a free action or something, or you could do it some other way, He's not a very good POG generator.
And Punisher's got a 6 range, and the Decoy's got a 5 range.
Yeah,
so
or if you could put it down when he doesn't have to put it adjacent to people. So you could use it for blocking corridors off or something like that. But no, he has to place it adjacent to the opposing character, so I don't think that's great. But again, he's just got decent attack values. So if you do want to use him with the weapons off the van, that was really all I was thinking about as well. You could probably do would be in 50 points really and get rid of his trait, and it'd be better.
Yeah.
But the other one, because again I was struggling. I'm stealing Runaways from you from now on. I think, Sean.
I know.
This one's Nico Minoru.
Yeah.
I don't know
Yeah.
how you pronounce that second name. So she's basically just a pick of power, although she has quite a few restrictions upon her. She's basically just got willpower for 3 clicks and nothing else. 5 clicks long. Then just keyword, 75 points. Got the Runaways trait. And her other trait is you can give her a free action, choose up to two standard powers, each of a different combat type. So like speed, attack, defense, damage. You may not choose a power from a type chosen during your last turn, and she can use those powers until your next turn. So she's okay, I suppose, as a pick power supporty person, but I'm going to go, this turn I'm going to pick sidestep and TK. Next turn I'm going to pick invincible and prob. But then you'll get confused, I think, I really want prob next turn and I can't pick it. I'm going to have to pick something else. So I think the restrictions make questionable, I think, at 75 points. You can probably get some value out of her if you practice and have a few set combinations that you want to use. Because sometimes thinking on the fly, I really want this power, I shouldn't have picked it last turn, I needed this turn. But I think when you go on to the super rares and you find somebody else who's 75 points and does something similar, then you might not bother playing her unless you're playing in a Runaways team.
Yeah.
But, not terrible. But I think you do have to work at support powers because the stats aren't great either.
Yeah, for me that's
unlike
the killer.
Again, the other person who does like 4 damage, she's only got 2, and she hasn't got any powers there apart from willpower. So you're basically stuck with going through and picking support powers really, because she's not really a decent attacker.
Yeah.
Or calling people in. She can just call people in and just pick perplex and enhancement. So they have to be they can't be in each of the different combo types. You can't even do that.
Sucks.
Great.
Her numbers are just awful. She needs an extra damage every single extra thing, and it's just something else about her. There's just for 75 points, she's not a good enough support piece. And even with all the powers in the game, she's 10 attack, 2 damage, is doing nothing.
Yeah.
I mean,
I suppose it is just, it's because you can't, if you just got rid of that restriction, then, even then, you would say, yes, it's worth it, but she still would be an expensive support piece.
Even if it was a case, because it's thematic at least, even if it was a case of, you can't pick a power you've picked before, in the last turn before, that would be fine. But I mean, it's just the restriction's brutal. Because you basically get stuck in a pattern where you have to go defense and damage and then attack and move, and that's all you can ever do with it. And there's not all that much you can do. And the numbers are just too bad. So even when you're on that movement and attack version, you can't actually do any damage unless your best option is picking charge and blades and hoping for the best with a 10 attack, and that's just insane for 75 points.
Or just picking DK all the time and sidestep. I'm going to be sidestepping DK this turn. This turn, I'm going to be barrier perplex.
It's just not 75 points. It's not worth it.
Yeah, I think it should have been cheaper if you're going to have it, because I think her stick in the comic books was obviously
Staff of 1
doing things that she had never done it before. Yeah, So if you want to do that, you should have made it about 50 points or so.
Yeah.
Drop our last click, make it 50 points. Because I think 75, there's just far too many better options.
Yep.
Anyway,
Okay.
that's my res.
Oh, that's my turn.
Yeah.
So yeah, I've also found the res somewhat lackluster. I've gone for TV's Daredevil. He's a little bit weaker. He's only 30 points in comparison to TV's Spider-Man, but he has a very defined role. He has 4 clicks, 17 defense, super senses on all but the last one. The same annoying movie star trait, so he can drop his attack down to basically 8 or 7 if he's on his last couple clicks, but go to effectively 19 defense with super senses, and he's got plasticity. He's got terrible keywords, but there's an idea out there for him. He's only 30 points, and he is one of the best tie-up pieces going, and he's dirt cheap for what he does. And he improves movement, ignore hindering terrain. That's adorable. And he's got wildcard. There's uses for him, but nah, not much to say really.
Yeah, it's best of bad bunch.
It's a little bit. The other one I went for, I'm probably regretting. I went for Iron Man, the Sir Iron Man, or Sir Tony Stark. Sorry, not really sure what if this is from. I'm hoping it's the one with a what if Doom left him behind when they went to Camelot. It's adorable. I mean, he's just another Iron Man. I don't have any understanding as to why him being in the past makes sense. His dial, you could show me that, and it could be any Iron Man ever. A trait for 2 action. As long as he has less than 2 action tokens, he can use Energy Shield, which is nice because his defense is garbage. 17 for 4 clicks and 16 for the last 2. But he's got sidestep, range combat expert with 10 attack and 3 damage first click. That's not terrible.
But you just you compare him to see the common Iron Man, and the common Iron Man has got pretty much the same dial, to be honest. And he's actually better because he's got 2 good traits.
That's basically it. It's as straightforward as they've went. Well, he is this very simple. He's just basically the same dial, but we've gave him outwit during it at one point, and we took his good traits away and gave him energy shield deflection. But it's just he's rubbish. He's fine, but
he's rubbish. He's fine.
It's rubbish. It's fine. I can't be bothered to argue with it. He is just rubbish. I mean, I prefer the Thor. I don't know why I didn't pick the 105 point Seth's Thor. That's just better. But anyway, that's about rant done. The rares suck.
Yeah, pretty much. So for my 2 rares, my first pick was Victorious. Victor Mancha, he is. He has a special movement and special damage. Special movement on his top 2 clicks. Victorious may use phasing teleport. Would be when he does. If he moved half his speed value or less after action resolve, he may make a ranged attack. If he moved more than half his speed value, he can use stealth until your next turn. Great, but he is 140 points. He has Impervious. He's in Dome. Special damage. Opposing characters within range and line of fire can't use probability control. If a character can't use probability control because of this power, Victorious may use probability control. So that's kind of quirky. He has that special movement for his top 2 and then drops to sidestep, and then picks up the special movement again for his last 2. Pence High first 3, nothing in the middle, and then Precision Strike last 2, and Pervious top dial. Yeah, he's expensive.
He's the worst runaway.
But
he's not bad.
Yeah,
he's not bad dial. He's just too expensive.
You know what? He doesn't even have the runaway keyword, which I'm good about.
It's because he's the villain of the storyline.
Yeah, he is. Yeah, but yeah, he's future robot. So another robot. He's
trash.
Yeah, he is what he is. Yeah, he is what he is.
Like, I don't. Did you pick him to highlight how bad the rares are, or?
Picked him because it was kind of like what was left was like he's involved with the Runaways in some way, and yeah, there's not much left. But I did then go on to pick Captain America, number 36. 100 points, Captain America. He has charge for 2 clicks. On his top 2 clicks, his lowest attack drops to a 10. He goes 11, 11, 10, 11, 10, 10. Special damage. Captain America can use leadership, as you would expect. If he does and succeeds while adjacent to one or more opposing character of 150 points or less, give those characters an action token. So that's kind of like a kind of reverse leadership, I guess. He has that from an alternate Earth trait that you like so much, Dale. So I'm sure you can think of other Captain Americas that you want to either swap in or swap out. He has another trait called Hammer and Shield. Captain America can use energy shield deflection and range combat expert. So I think that's pretty good. He's 100 points as Guardian, Defenders, and Soldier keyword. Thoughts?
Why did out of us picking 6 of them, which is literally half of the rares, did none of us, the only good one, get picked last? I mean, I stand.
We're leaving it for Sean.
And I think I even said during our little chat, I was like, I should have picked Captain America. Why? He's the only like, standout good one. I mean, he's really good.
I mean, he's got good values. 10 top dial, 10 movement with charge. That's a 5 charge, 11 attack, 4 damage. He's only got 17 defense, but he's got traded energy shield as well.
Or he can just stand there and shoot you with range combat expert for 11 attacks, 6 damage.
Combat expert, yeah.
And I think he's brilliant. His leadership's just gravy. I mean, he's so good. And defender's keyword is a bizarre thing for people who care about that as well.
What we really need is a set with a lot of other defenders in, don't we? Oh, wait, hold on.
Yeah, he's
a nice person for Doctor Strange to carry around.
Yes.
Which Doctor Strange?
Get his defend plus energy shield for 20
He doesn't
defense.
have the defender's team ability, just the keyword.
Yeah, but he's still got the defend. Doctor Strange gets defend.
Oh, he's
one of them does uncommon one. I think
we've got. He's the alternate Earth one, so you don't have to play him. You can just play 100-point Thor or 100-point Captain America, and just swap them out when you need it. I mean, his middle. If you get him on click 4, I mean, that's insane. He's got basically 19 defense with no reduction or anything, but 19 defense, sidestep, and either range combat expert or close combat expert. He's just really good, and even his last click, he has outweight.
He lasts 2 clicks,
yeah. So on that
let's move on.
Time you turn the Doctor Strange into the +1/+1, and then he's got, let's see, his range combat expert with a 12 or
you got like 13-5.
13-5.
13-5.
It's just ridiculous.
And he's still called Captain America, so you can literally swap that Captain America out for a different Captain America with the same alternate Earth thing. I don't think there is one, but there may be eventually.
Well, there's the release day prize is a Captain America as well, so exactly the same score.
He's a captain, so he has the
captain, and he's 10 points too much to swap out from that guy.
Oh, is he? I
don't understand why, but there he is.
Yeah, they've made them all like weird points. Like they just made them all 100 points or something. That would have been a lot simpler to try and figure out. It's not as if you can swap between them. So you can swap once.
Yeah.
And it's just awkward points values, really. I don't know why they did that.
I'm hoping there's going to be more of them coming out. I mean, I like the mechanic a lot. I like the idea that the sidelines becoming like the new resource, and you've got to play with your 9 options the best you can. I'm excited to see where it goes. Trying to move on to the best thing then.
Moving on to Super Rares, yeah.
Right. Can I make a comment about the set now, or can I wait until after the best figures?
Make comments now.
The comment about my set, maybe it doesn't include the Super Rares. I just think they've been... because it's what if, I did expect more like invention and some more funky stuff in the set. You've got just more weird stuff, really. Even if it's not like, I'm not so much talking about competitiveness. I'm just talking about things that do something different. or just like really weird combinations of characters. Because like you get like so many. There's only so many Daredevils and Spider-Man that you can actually put up with. But then you've got something like Spider-Man, which is like Aunt May as Spider-Man, something like that. I think, yeah, that's interesting. I mean, it doesn't need to be like competitive or something. It's just like weird.
She's just
I just thought there'd be more of that.
Actually,
sort of
when I heard someone tell me it was Aunt May in the set as something, I was like, oh great, and I genuinely thought we were going to get the golden oldie. I thought we were going to get the what if she became a Herald of Galactus. That was the dream. But yeah, I think you're right. I think there's too many Daredevils that are all the same. There's too many Punishers that are all the same. Too many Spider-Man that it's all yes. What if this happened? But really, it doesn't make a difference if you took that. If you stripped away the real name, stripped away the picture from the back, it could just be any Spider-Man. And it's fine.
Dials aren't matching what their sort of descriptions are. They need to be more. And I'm hoping that haven't seen one or two reviews from the DC set. I'm hoping that they are slightly more inventive, at least. I don't know how much.
I'm disappointed in the amount of sculpt reuse in the set. Considering it's the like their 15th anniversary set. There's like all of the Spider-Man are exactly the same sculpt, with the exception of TV Spider-Man and Cosmic Spider-Man, which we'll get on later.
Well, I think they've done it like the common, uncommon, rare, where they're doing it sort of like a throwback
to the Rev sets.
To like the Rev sets. So they might just be, well, it's the 50th anniversary, we're going to go back in time and do what we used to do. And it might just be that because of releasing a lot more sets this year, they're doing it quick and cheaper, because normally you wouldn't get 2 sets in, say, the summer. You'd get like the organized storyline thing. So
I guess I was hoping that the sculpts would look as good as what they did for the 10th anniversary sets.
Yeah. That 10th anniversary set, I think I've still got a box of them, of every single one of them. I mean, I don't keep anything that's out of date. I only play for the modern age, really. But I mean, I've kept a box of them for just to cut the sculpts off and put them on something different. I mean, there was like a common Thor in there with just a load of lightning around him. That looked incredible. I mean,
but they were a smaller set, and like they were charging more for them. So you'd think that like you get
not
more.
That much though.
Anyway,
they were $250 a single. If you're looking at pounds, and now you're getting what's like 12, 11 quid for a booster of 5.
Yeah, but there's inflation. So the gravity feed sets now are like £3.
Oh no, I haven't bought a gravity feed in ages.
Anyway, that is just. I think they've just put all the effort into the super rares that we're going to talk about, and it's a shame, because I think they could have done that more for, even if it's just the rares. I mean, the commons and uncommons are not too bad. I think when you get to rares, I think you do expect a little bit more from them. So I'm a bit disappointed about them. But anyway, as I say, when we go to the super rares, I think 90% of these guys
are awesome.
Well, they might not be competitive, but they've actually put some effort into them. The sculpts are nice. The dials do something different. But anyway, let us get on and talk about them.
Moving on to the super rares then.
Right, so I've definitely stolen Runaways thing from Sean. I am going for Gertrude York's and Old Lace. If you just look at her dial, you'll go, why is she 50 points? She's got 8 attack down to 7, and she's got 1 damage and 17 defense. She's got the Runaways. All the value is in her traits and the bystander she brings along with her. So she has got the Runaways trait again, but don't worry, you'll never use it because she will never be attacking anybody. She has a trait that at the beginning of the game plays the Old Lace bystander, and when Old Lace would take damage, you may instead deal Gertrude York and Old Lace 1 unavoidable damage. So the Old Lace Bystander has a Charge Blades, Toughness, Empower, 10, 11, 17, 2, which is very nice, and coupled with the fact that you try and deal damage to it, and instead of it taking any damage, Gertrude takes a click of damage. She's got 5 clicks, so you're going to have to hit that 5 times, and then a 6th time for luck to actually kill it. So she's also got Leadership. When she succeeds, she may remove an action token from one friendly character with the Runaways or Young Avengers keyword regardless of adjacency or point value. So anybody that you're pairing her with one of those keywords, she, I think by the wording, she can take it up herself as well. If she ever does something that merits her put an action token on her.
Friendly to ourselves, so yeah.
Yeah, I think so. But obviously if you're pairing her with anybody else with a keyword, if you're playing Runaways, then you definitely want to be playing her. I think we did a test when we were testing teams out, played her, and obviously that Leadership is massive if you're playing like a swarm team, having an extra action, and then sit down next to somebody who shares a keyword with her, who's higher points with the new rules, and she'll be taking tokens off them. And so obviously everything's with her is down to how you use a Bystander, really. You can sit her chilling in the back, sitting in stealth, and just let her Bystander run free, and it will pretty much never die. And if you have anybody with support hanging about at the back, when it looks like it might die, you just heal her back up. So puts people off attacking the Bystander, really, and it is quite nasty. Especially when you play Swordsman ID card and then end up giving it Flurry.
Yes.
With blades. Yes. So yeah, or it carrying around a little. Another thing we forgot to do is like it should be carrying around a little light object really to get some damage. So to save it using its blades. Anyway, that's Gertrude and Old Lace. I do think that it is a competitive piece. I know probably none of the other ones we've ever talked about is going to be seen a lot in high level competitive play, but I do think Gertrude and Yorks is, especially if you're looking at maybe Dow was testing out like an animal round teleporter team. It works very well with that. Don't know if you guys want to add anything.
Yeah, I mean I didn't play it, but I played against it, and it's brutal. It's just you don't want to punch Old Lace Bystander because it's a wasted attack in some respects, but you don't want to ignore the fact that it's there because it can do some serious damage.
Well, even if you punch it, it doesn't. The thing with the Bystander is if you think, oh, there's a penguin sat next to me, I've got to get rid of it, otherwise it'll psychic blast me.
Yeah, that's what I mean. It's a wasted attack.
But then with Old Lace, it's just like it's still standing there.
Yeah,
so
ready to
you
get
might have like pulse waved it or something like that, but it's still standing there, going to charge you next to.
Yeah.
So you can get rid of it.
So it's it's tough, man. It was a tough match.
And it's only 50 points, so it's not as if it's using up a lot of your team, and it's not unique. So if you really want to, you can play a couple of them.
And when you're tied up trying to deal with Old Lace, then you've got, in the case of the game I had against the team, you've got like Devil Dinosaur Pogs creeping up on you as well. So it's kind of like, yeah,
I think it does work. The animal keyword is a nice keyword for Pog generators, really. There's a lot of decent ones there. Anyway, my other pick is another competitive piece. Probably one of the two most competitive pieces in the set, and this is going to be Peace Machine. Peace Machine is similarly 50 points. He's got first 2 clicks is basically sidestep, TK, toughness, and outwit, and last 2 is plasticity, energy shield, and support. He does have a 19 defense, but the 0 damage, so you're basically playing him for the TK and outwit. Obviously, he does have some very nice traits as well. The first one is basically giving him Force Blast. When he does, he can target opposing characters within 3 squares of the line of fire, which ain't too bad just for moving people around if you really want to. you're not using your TK and you want to do something else. The last trait is the one that you're playing them for, which is a suppression field. So if a character would take 4 or more damage, it takes 3 instead. Which is something I don't think we've ever seen on a figure. So this is a map-wide effect. It's going to affect your team as well as the opponent's team. And it's basically just giving everybody like damage reduction. But that isn't damage reduction, so it's just maxing out how much damage people can do. So he himself obviously has 4 clicks, so barring any things like tanks or things like that, you're going to have to hit him twice to try and get rid of that. And he's sort of a figure, he's not a figure that will immediately see a ton of play like one of the other super rares that we're going to talk about. But he is a figure that may... people may start to build their teams around. Seems very good in swarm teams. You don't really want to play him in a team with anybody who has more than 3 damage, really, because you're suppressing their damage as well. But if you're playing them in a swarm team with 3 or 4 other attackers, probably with some colossal retaliation on top as well, people are going to stick around. You're going to have to start hitting people twice to get rid of them, when previously, you can get rid of them in one shot of them. And I think obviously we're building some teams around him, so we can have a look at what the people will come up with. But I think he will, while he won't see maybe a huge amount of play to start with, I do think he will creep in and people will start building a lot of teams around him.
Yeah,
Anybody else?
We've spoken about it enough. I think the goal is to find a handful of pieces that have 4 or 7 clicks of life that are solid, cheap, and just build around that. I think there's a team out there that will make that work.
Yeah, I mean, I know you talked about him in the last episode, but yeah, he's at first I misread his trait when I first read his trait, and I thought it was reducing the amount of damage that you deal to an opponent, but it's not. It's reducing the amount of damage they take. Because I thought that is just broken. I mean, it's bad enough, but had it have been the amount of damage that you deal to an opponent, then that's just broken and disgusting. But it's not as broken as I thought it was, but it will have a massive it's a game changer, really, isn't it? It's going to shut down the likes of these big sort of tentpole teams that just kind of wipe out smaller teams and swarm teams. I know Krang isn't much of a thing now, but it would shut Krang down.
I think there's definitely if you can find the people to play him with, he's going to see play. But it really comes down to is there a team out there you can build that is good enough to support that? I think probably out of keywords you're looking best at soldier for him. I think if you can get a handful of soldiers, general lane, things like that, I think it might be worth it.
You may not want general lane, because things like general lane has got enhancement, so things like that is a bit.
If you're gonna go for swab, if you can find some the more dirt cheap for the click figures you can get, the more kind of advantage you'll get from it. And a lot of them aren't going to have 3 damage anyway. It's not going to hurt. And the more outwit you have in a swab team, the better. The only thing I think that's going to really just maybe poo-poo on the whole thing, and I think it's probably got to be why if it doesn't reach kind of competitive anyway, it's just going to be the tank. The fact that it's a separate attack, a separate damage source. Sorry, you just think all of these. You think in swarm team, loads of figures, and you're obviously going to try and maximise that by going for the 4 clicks, really, unless something's really, really worth taking. You just get killed by a tank, including him.
Which I think why you don't play something like general lane, because general lane needs people to be standing next to each other. I think you need to play it when people are sort of acting independently, and as soon as you see a tank, then you're spreading out. So you won't be able, which I think the tank sort of kills a lot of teams that really want to group together. Things like defend teams or anything like that. Or even things like with multi-taxis and things. You've got to be so careful that you don't just get a tank on your head. So I think you need to try and be imaginative and play, right, these figures do not need to stand next to each other to be effective. Or if you've got, or even if you've got, right, I've got a guy, I'm going to carry him and he's got sidestep, so he will move away. Or you're playing a theme team and you can find some maps that means it's very difficult to get the tank down on you. Because I agree, you just, if you're playing 4-click characters and you're trying to do that, you just, or you can just play really cheap people, just everybody's less than 50 points, or 50 points and less. You're going to kill me with a tank, then I'm going to kill your tank, and we're going to be about level. Because you're giving away 50 points by using the tank in the first place. It's tough, but I think you need to, it is going to be a figure that you're going to go back to and then try and build around. And it's just trying to say, just trying to get that right mix of figures, really. Just are there enough good, cheap figures around that you can get the most out of them, really? I think
maybe a team with him, the round table, and really aim for getting the high end of it, and maybe even having a really huge 300 point kind of, if he managed to get lucky, call it in at the end. I think that might be the real way of playing him and winning with it.
Anyway, we can go on and talk about him because we're building teams around him, so that's my super rare.
So for me then, I'll start with the one who's not competitive, but I think is cute and I really want to play it, and I think it might have a shot. Peter the Hunter. Now, it is another one with the alternate Earth trait, but this one's actually terrible. So you can replace him with, you can replace a Spider-Man or a Kraven the Hunter with him. But part of his points, really, he's 90 points, 6 clicks long, okay numbers. I mean, nothing fantastic, but his standout is his trait, where he enslaved the Kraven family. He gets 4 pogs that he gets at the beginning of the game. They can carry each other. They don't, the first action any of these pogs do in the turn doesn't count towards your point totals. You get basically a free action out of these 4. They're all okay. They all have a very distinct role. They all, there's an outwit one, there's a range combat exit one, a charge blades one, a flurry precision strike one. But I mean, for me, that's quite a lot for 90 points. He also has a trait, I killed my greatest enemies. When he kills an opposing character with 50 points or more, you can put a token, you can heal him a click and put a token on him. When he would be killed, you can instead remove one of these tokens and put him on his last non-KO click. So he can be a real pain to put down. I think he's alright. Any ideas on it? And Animal as well, some more pogs.
I think he's just like, he's a charge character though. So I think you've got to bear in mind he is 90 points. Charge characters, people don't play charge characters for a reason. I think it comes down to what you can use with the bystanders, and because you can't replenish them.
Yeah.
Unlike a lot of other bystander generators, when they're dead, they're dead. So it depends if you can get the most out of them. And then get him in close, because you really need to get him in smacking people and killing them. He might possibly be used with an alternate Earth trait, I suppose, if you know you're just about to kill somebody. They go, I'll quickly swap into him, and then I'll kill them with him, and now he's not going to die, because he's got his trophy token.
Basically, here's my new stop click.
Yeah, and now I've got a stop click.
He's all right. I mean, when I first seen him, I thought he was great. And then I didn't realise in my head, I wasn't paying attention. I looked like, oh, he doesn't have super senses on one of these traits. But I thought it was Spider-Man. And
yeah, he's gonna get shot a bit. So you do need to think about how you're going to use him, how you're going to use the bystanders, and Are you going to try and put something on him? Are you going to try and put a possessor on him to try and keep him alive? Is that going to be worth it? When he hasn't really got... He's just going to be attacking close up. What other keywords he's got? Spider-Man family.
Spider-Man family, warrior, animal.
Is that Spider-Man family trait? Is that just keys off the Spider-Man family keyword, or do they all need that trait?
The one about the calling help from the Spider-Verse, that's just the keyword. So you can have, I don't know, Scarlet Spider
that's a way to
running
do
shot
it.
through a wall, shoot somebody, and he just pops in front of them.
That would be a good way of doing it, because then you haven't got to like him walking up and trying to charge somebody. Isn't particularly useful. So you can have the 100-point handstand Spider-Man or something like that. Yeah, and then suddenly he's next to them and then be exploiting them. So you might fit in with like a Spider-Verse team.
Obviously 90 points is a lot when you're not getting those pugs for him. I think that's the key downside for it.
No, but you can play him. I'm saying playing him in a Spider-Man family team, and then he stands back, lets the pugs do the work, and then when somebody tries to trigger the call and help with the Spider-Verse, then he pops next to them and then exploits them. Plays an exploit. See if I can kill them. Get myself a trophy token. Keep myself alive. Because some of those Spider-Verse guys, some of them are alright.
Yeah.
He doesn't need then to move up and try and get shot a bit. He can hang back and try and get called up with the same way as he might play, something like Spider-Punk. But Spider-Punk's got super senses and shape change to try and keep himself alive. Well, he's just got combat reflexes.
Yeah. I think that's enough on Peter the Hunter. I think there's not much more to say about him, really. I think for me...
Well, he's interesting at the very least.
As opposed
to some of the other figures we've talked about.
I think the standout one, really, it's just got to be the guy, the fact that he has a pog, has that wit with him. I think that's just... you can't underestimate that for basically a free pog. No one's going to waste time shooting for an outwit.
Yeah.
So I'm going to move on to my favourite figure in the set, and I will put money on the standout figure that people have not realised. Everyone's so excited over the Goblin King, but Cosmic Spider-Man is the best figure in the set. The 275 point, 175 point dials, they are cute, they're funny. The fact that they've got no the special power, it's just a case of hypersonic, running shot, sidestep, just big numbers, standard powers. Looks like a figure you've plucked out of a set from 15 years ago. But he has the improved targeting, so he ignores hindering, elevated, blocking, and shoots through blocking, destroying it. It's just rare, you don't see it all that often. He has a 75 point dial, which does more damage than any 75 point figure in range, 11 attack, sidestep, precision strike, second blast, 4 damage, and he's going to smash walls for you, and he's ideable because he's got the real name Peter Parker. I think that's just going to be on pretty much everyone's team, and it's just going to be a case if you use him to shoot through walls and just do a reasonable amount of damage for 75 points.
Yeah, I think the fact that he has an ID card and we called it off the ID for 75 points is what makes him valuable.
Yeah, the two big dials are cute, nothing else. The bottom one is going to see some play, just for the calling, if nothing else.
Yeah.
So I think he's going to have the most impact, but that's me on the super rares, really.
Yeah, I think he's going to have an impact, and I'm now glad that Chris gifted me that Spider-Man ID card.
Yeah, you'll never get a Cosmic Spider-Man though.
Yeah, you'll make sure of it.
Back to me.
Right, my super rare pick. I'll go with my lesser of the two. I went for 041 of the Advocate because I thought, well, we've picked all the other Daredevils, why not pick this one? 60 points, Mystic Steam ability. He has one trait. The Advocate can use Smoke Cloud, but only to place up to 3 Smoke Cloud markers. These Smoke Cloud markers are only removed from the map when he uses Smoke Cloud again or is KO'd. And then he has a special movement on his top 3 clicks that says the Advocate can use Stealth and improved movement ignores hindering terrain. I'm so glad he's got that because the amount of figures that have Stealth with that don't have improved movement. It just irritates me when that happens. Before the advocate is given a non-free action, you may place him in a square of hindering terrain within 3 squares in line of fire. That's about it. He's got exploit weakness as well. He's not really that good, but
here's a wild thought. Why don't they just include in stealth that at the beginning of your turn you could do first square you move through of hindering, you don't count, you don't have to stop, or you don't have your movement if you occupy hindering terrain. Simple as that. I agree with you. It's the stupidest rule going. It's 90% of the reason why you only use people as stealth shields when you're flying around, because they are just immobile 99% of the time.
Yeah.
It's why that Wakanda map, despite what everybody was like, what I was playing on the other day, it is not for stealth people.
No.
Do not play that Wakanda map with a bunch of stealth guys who can't fly, because it will mess you up so badly when somebody else can fly and doesn't have stealth and has a +2 to defense. Anyway.
Yeah. 60 points. Yeah, he's probably one of the. He's not a super rare I hope to pull in my brick. Put it that way. But I thought why not have all of the Daredevils on the show?
He's
definitely not the worst Daredevil.
No, he's not.
I bet we would all disagree who is.
To be honest, when I looked at it first, the first thing you reminded me of was the shifting focus Batman.
Yeah, I was going to say that.
Only I think he is not as good because he can
shift into somebody else.
He can only be placed before he's given a non-free action. So
rather than just as a free action.
Yeah, so he was my first pick, and I felt the need to pick a rather poor super rare because I've also picked a Goblin King. There's nothing I can say about Goblin King that hasn't already been said by everybody since his style was spoiled. He can be played at 275, 175, and 75. He has that Infinity Gauntlet trait. Give him a free action and choose 2 standard powers. Goblin King can use the chosen powers until he chooses again. And the force you to relive your worst nightmare trait. When an opposing character misses Goblin King with an attack after action's resolved, give that character a nightmare token. Characters with a nightmare token modify their attack value by -1. They get to remove the nightmare token when they target Goblin King again with an attack, providing, of course, that they hit, because if they miss, they get it straight back again. Power Cosmic. So he's got willpower built in. I know there's been a lot of talk about people playing him with Jakeem. He should be easier to get than Jakeem because he's only a super rare, and I think he's actually better than Jakeem.
I disagree with you at the moment, but I think give it however many months it takes him to click out the new rules and he'll be better. I think he fits into our teams because the 75-point version is great, but I think as a tentpole, I think the 140 version is better. The 140 Jakeem is better than the equivalent 175 Goblin.
Now, I'm not sure I agree with that.
I think a lot of the time, Jakeem's opening clicks. Jakeem's style is better. Well, especially with the energy shield.
Yeah, he's got
the energy shield sidestep up front is better than, say, phasing. You don't really want to phase in up front. And then just having the energy shield. Yes, he's got
his ways of giving him sidestep.
But to be honest with you, you really want to be picking Invincible all the time. So with 7 clicks as well, you don't want to be somebody just going, I'll just cycle Bastia for a lot. You do want to have Invincible just to say, right, you won't kill me. So do you then just decide, I'm going to pick Invincible, and then it's sort of a wasted, I'm doubling up on damage reduction, I don't really need to. I don't think he's as good as Jakeem. I know that even with the outwit, I think the one thing that he's slightly better at is because his is a free action, and he can sort of use his powers until he chooses again.
Yeah.
So you can sort of stick with your powers, and then halfway through the turn, after you've made an attack, I'm going to go to my defensive option now. But then you have to sort of plan ahead what you're picking. So let's say I'm going to pick Hypersonic and Precision Strike or something. And then, after I've done that, then I'm going to pick Invincible and Shape Change. And be sort of then
so you can,
tied into using that power that you picked the previous turn. So it does take a little bit of planning ahead. I don't know.
I think certainly come new rules, he's going to be. He would be my pick over Jakeem. Possibly because of the outward, the change to the outward rules. I mean, we don't know if they're going to reword Power Cosmic or anything. Hopefully not.
Well, it'll be protected outwit.
Yeah,
but it depends if it just gives
yeah.
you powers protected outwit, or if it gives you protected outwit, so you can't be outwitted whatsoever. Because it might be just like every your flight it used to be, your carry ability or something, but it depends how it's worded. There's fringe cases like with Agent 13 who can outwit team abilities. So she may or may not be good against Goblin King depending on how the word the Power Cosmic.
Yeah.
I do think for Goblin King, I think the only time I would ever play him is at 75 points. Because I think he reminds me of Engineer, but 15 points cheaper and 4 damage. So I'll just pick One Shot Pulse Wave, and that 4 damage for 75 point figure is like brutal. And then when you want to come in and be the secondary attacker,
I'm hoping to pull one and I want to try and build a team around him. I'm a little bit disappointed with these keywords. For some reason, I'd convinced myself that he had the cosmic keyword.
I thought he had as well.
But it's only appearing on the realms as Dark Avengers, Monster, and Ruler. But I could have sworn in the when they spoiled the dial that he actually had the cosmic keyword.
Well, there's a way to check that,
I'm on it now.
I'm too slow. I can't be bothered. You have a look. Alright, is that our last
That's my last super rare.
It's Dark Avengers.
So we're on a chase.
Dark Avengers, Monster, Ruler. No cosmic, no mystical, nothing.
Well, monsters. There's quite a few decent monsters, and obviously you could play him as like the supporting version of your big monsters, maybe, because he's got all the support powers you ever need. And Ruler's not too shabby either. There's a few decent ones. Anyway, we're going on to chases.
Yes.
What have I picked? I've only picked this one because I think he's funny. I've gone for Venom Thor only because I think he looks like Papa Lazaro from the League of Gentlemen. So I'm going to try and get one and just say hello Dave all the time. Whenever I attack somebody. Oh, especially when he uses tendril power and it comes next to me. Hello Dave. Right. Anyway, most people won't know what I'm talking about.
We'll have to put a photograph up on the Facebook page.
Yeah. Venom Thor, he is 90 points, not too bad points wise. He's got run shot 11 8, 11, 18, 4, so 11, 4 is pretty good. He's got the alien symbiote trait, which is similar to all people who are possessed by Venom. Got plasticity, shape change, and automatically breaks away. He has another trait that says when he hits with a range attack, hit characters are given a tendril token if they don't already have one. And he's got a special attack power that uses the Venom tokens, or references them anyway. And he can use poison, but when he does, characters with a tendril token are placed adjacent to him before he deals damage. And after actions resolve, those characters remove all tendril tokens. He is a little bit squishy, only having toughness. And he does not have any willpower. And he's only got 5 range. so he's a little bit fragile, I think. It is a nice... Even where I was just thinking about if you can run with the new rules, technically, if I don't move or place, I can hit you with a range attack, and then I can poison straight after, which drags you next to me. Then poisons, because you don't have to poison at the beginning of the turn with the new rules.
That's right, as long as you haven't been moved to place.
Yeah, but obviously because he's got such a short range, it's quite awkward to pull that off. You're sort of relying on that shape change quite a bit, because I don't think toughness is going to save you from getting hit. But at the end of his dial, it gets decent stats on the end of his dial. It's getting, close combat attacker with flurry and steel energy. And he's 90 points. I mean, you may want to give him, possess him with Calypso or something if you really wanted to try and make him competitive. But yeah, I mean, I suppose you could just run up near somebody if they hit, then you're running up with them. You've got plasticity, then you've got flurry, steel energy towards the end of the dial as well. So try and keep you alive with you get combat reflex as well at the end. I think he would be competitive, I think, if he had a long range and 2 bolts or something like that, because he really wants to hit people, get those tokens on them, and then can reposition them. And because he's got fire, I think that just his range is holding him back quite a bit, and obviously just the toughness. But fairly decent, not competitive though, I don't think. Anybody want to comment on that?
He's alright.
Yeah,
he's alright.
Yeah, I think he's obviously better when the new rules come out and they change to poison. But
he can't move with a running shot though.
No,
then so he's got to be 5 squares away from you.
You've got to position that. It's going to take a couple of turns to get into a position where you can pull that off, and then with only toughness that on that top dial, are you still going to be alive to do it next turn? I don't know. You got shape change.
Yeah, I think you're just relying on that a lot. Yeah. You really need to roll your shape change. Right, that's my chase.
Dib's my next. So I went with poison. This is the kind of thing I was hoping for in the set. That everything was like this. What if Peter Parker died in the other storyline and became a full-on symbiote monster? This is the kind of weird stuff I was looking for. But yeah, he's got the alien symbiote trait. Click 4, 6, and 7. He can kick out a Carnage Gwen Pog, which is just a bit crazy. Flurry blades, super senses, and exploit weakness. She's nice enough, but you don't. The problem for it, for me, you're not likely to get that out all that often. It's just how often you're going to get stuck on those clicks. We'll see. But to begin with, he has charge for a click, go to sidestep for a couple of clicks, poison for 4, a special damage power for those 4 as well, which means all his damage. The damage he deals is penetrating. When he hits a character that can't use toughness, invulnerability, or impervious, you increase his damage dealt by 1. So he's got effectively 4 damage unless you're reducing it, but he's dealing penetrating damage anyway, so it's alright. He can penetrating poison and then hit you with first click 11 attack, potentially 4 damage. It's he can. He's all right. He's got the Spider-Man same ability. I think he's the least bad one of the chases. I don't think any of them are going to see any competitive play, but I think he has potentially an option as a daft. If you're playing, I don't know, if you have the Spider-Man ID on your side, he's got Peter Parker real name. If for some reason you don't need to shoot through walls, you can just shot him in there. He's alright.
I think at the moment you could use him because it's a penetrating poison as well. So using him as an ID is not too bad, because then he hasn't got to make his way up the map getting shot to bits just like Thor would. So Coleman as an ID. Counter if you're next to somebody going penetrating poison.
That'll punch you. Then
I'll punch you and do penetrating damage as well, which you could do up to 4. So you could take 5 penetrating damage just for that, and then he ties you up, and he's got a reasonably long dial. with shape change, and plasticity, and he might even go wild card and some like mystics. So he puts you off
bothering.
Attacking him as well.
And he's got monster keyword.
He's got another monster, and he's got Spider-Man family if you want to try and use the Spider-Verse thing as well. So having him moving next to you, standing right next to you, isn't a particularly pleasant idea.
I think you're right. I think he is the best of the 4 chasers. Yeah.
Still probably not great, but yeah, I'm pretty sure he's the best of the bad bunch.
Best of the bad bunch, yeah.
I think he's probably the best of the bad bunch because he's got an ID call in.
Probably.
And like most of the others, would be nice to have them as ID options, because then at least it gives you much more. Something like that Venom Hulk. Yeah. I don't know what you're talking about, Sean, but having him as an ID option would be very nice if it hadn't just rotated.
Yeah. Speaking of which, that is my chase pick, Venom Hulk. So yeah, he's 12 movement, 10 attack, 18 defense, 4 damage, top dial. He only has a leap climb for his first 3 clicks, and then he goes to charge. He has super strength for half his dial, for 6 clicks of his dial, and he has a special attack. Venom Hulk can use Quake and super strength. When Venom Hulk uses Quake, he may instead deal his printed damage value, which isn't too bad because the first click he picks that up on, he has a 4 damage. So with Battle Fury, so I quite like that value. Although it isn't his highest damage value, he does peak at 5 on clicks 5 and 6, 5 damage. He also has a special defense saying Venom Hulk can use super senses, toughness, and regen, and he picks that up on clicks 4 and 5. And damage power, Venom Hulk can use poison, has a range value of 4. When Venom Hulk hits a single opposing character with a ranged attack, you may place that character adjacent to Venom Hulk after actions resolve. But yeah, with only a range value of 4, it's kind of like the same situation we talked about with Chris. Yeah, it's
the front of his dial is like awful.
Yeah. And he's
having leap climb with a 10. He's just like
he's 190 points. I mean, he's 10 clicks long, but he's like
the 100-point version is fine. He's only a single. If you take monster whatever TK, you throw him in. He's got flurry, 12 attack, 5 damage, and he's just gonna smash stuff up with invincible. Yeah. So even if you hit him, you're not gonna kill him, and then he's gonna go up there with his crazy Quake doing tons of damage to everyone. I mean, he's far from great, but I mean, he's alright. He does lots of damage.
I would never use the Quake though, because I would never get to attack them again.
They might have charge.
Because I want them to stand next to me.
Or a wall.
Yeah, they've got to be knocking into a wall, because you would not want to knock them back, because the whole point of him is like, I've got plasticity and I'm going to keep you next to us.
Yeah.
And I haven't got like any movement attacks, so I think the Quake is a bit...
again, to be fair,
something you
even at
wouldn't
100
use
points,
very
it's going to be really hard to put down. Only 5 clicks long, but I mean, he's got Invincible to begin with, on top of Shape Change anyway. And then his 2 clicks at the bottom, he has Super Senses and Shape Change, and that's just going to be... And regen, so he's going to be like, well, I'm going to sit here, I'm just going to regen. You're not going to kill me at my next hit. And then I'm just going to keep sitting here until you eventually miss me, and eventually I'll be on my top click, and I'll just splat you for 4 or 5 damage twice with just stupid attack values.
You almost don't want to regen up at the top click though, do you? You want to regen to click 6, and where he has a 12 attack, 5 damage, and just...
me and you were talking about different ones. I would never ever play him at 190 points. The 190 points is trash. His 100-point version though,
oh, you're talking about
really
the 100-point one, so that is your top click, yeah.
This is a shame there's no way of giving people charge,
not
right?
particularly.
I know.
You know, for he's only 100 points, just get a TK. It was easy enough to find.
I do feel, if I can just make another comment about the whole set, I do feel a bit underwhelmed by the chasers in the set. I think all the value is in the super rare slot.
I don't mind that. I think I'm sick of seeing all of the teams that win everything are all the figures you have to have. I'm sick of seeing them all as chasers. It
was the opposite of like the Defenders, Avengers Defenders. Well, because all of the really, really desirable figures, it seems like were chasers, like the Hawkeye, Hydra Cap, that Rachel Punisher, more caps, the World War Hulk. Yeah. All of the chasers were like the more desirable ones, I think, rather than the super rares. But this is like the opposite.
I'd rather have it this way, where the super rares are the stars.
Yeah, so would I. They're easy to get.
Just cute. I mean, that's
more for collectors, really, rather than.
I know we've whinged. I haven't seen the sculpts, so I can't really whinge about it yet. But inevitably, I will do. Obviously, it's a small set, so if you're seeing the same sculpt 3 or 4 times, it's going to really stack up. But I think purely from a dial point of view, I'm a little disappointed with how little What If feels like What If. But in terms of the mechanics of everything and the points and everything, I think this is the best balanced set in terms of everything has a role, does a thing, is relatively well costed, and I think all but the absolute worst figures in the set are worth playing. Not necessarily at super competitive levels, but I mean, I'd never pull a figure and go, that's garbage, even in a daft game. I don't even want to look at this and throw it away. It is one of my favourite sets for quite a while.
I think most sets, there's only about 5 or 6 figures that ever get to see a lot of competitive play anyway. So it's probably like similar to that. I think a lot of people are miffed about it because of the, a few things like sculpt reuse, too many of the same figures, which is, understandable complaints, really.
I mean, they've been doing that for a while now, haven't they? I mean, they even had like dial reuse in the last set. They had like the common Hawkeye being the Green Arrow dial, and
I think it was more variant in the Avengers Defenders War. You had things like the shift and focus source. So you didn't really mind getting 3 of the same figure if you just played them together, and then you get more utility out of it with that. Obviously, if you get there was 7 Daredevils and 7 Spider-Man in this set.
Yeah, what if we give you another Spider-Man?
Yeah, and another Punisher.
None of the Punishers are shifting focus. I mean.
Yeah, it wouldn't be that hard just to go, there's 2 more 50-point shift and focus ones. That goes well with your ones that you got in the other set. How hard would it be to do that?
Is 50 points. I don't see it. But that's a complaint for the day. I think the set's probably, as an overall set, one of my favourites in a long time. And it's got the disadvantage of having 50 figures in it in total, including chasers. If you're not including the starter sets and things, 51. If you include the release OP kit, I mean, if you compare that to Avengers Defenders War, there's 70 in that set, 75 if you include it. That's you're looking at 2/3 of a set compared to the past few that are coming out, and I still think there's more figures in What If than what I'd play in Avengers Defenders War.
I think Avengers Defenders War was more fun, casual, and a lot of them were repeated. People you'd had a lot of anyway. There was Daredevil, Hulk, etc. in that, but I don't know. I think there was a lot of in Avengers Defenders War. I could see. There is some other figures. You had a lot of figures you could bring in with ID, so things like swordsman and things like that suddenly become, there's nice swordsman, so that card gets used. There's some nice cheap Doctor Stranges, so that card can get used. So you probably see a bit more of that set because there's some nice, bringing people in off ID cards and that. And there's some, reasonably competitive things like the Doctor Strange's Guardian, a couple of Captain Americas that are half decent, but I'm not sure. I don't know how much of this set I will be playing apart from the 2 or 3 super rares that inevitably I will play a lot of.
Here's something that I've just spotted that makes me laugh. If you're looking specifically on Modern Age, there's almost as many Daredevils. There's actually more Daredevils than there is Supermen, despite the fact that Superman's had two starter sets, two sets based on him.
Are you just putting in Superman, or are you going? What are you searching by?
I was
his
putting
real name.
the name Superman. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5,
You
6,
probably missed
7,
out a few
8,
there, will you?
9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. So there's 17 currently legal characters with the name Superman. 4 of them are the shifting focus ones, and there is 14 Daredevils. Who the hell is Daredevil?
We haven't had Elseworld yet, though.
I know, but like, I love Daredevil, but like, who the hell cares? It's as if 3 years ago, the designers who were designing the sets that are being released now watched the Netflix series and really, really liked it, and just went, "We need all of the Daredevils."
But you don't know how much of that is WizKids' decision making or licensing restrictions. If they say, we have to really push our Netflix series because it's like Punisher, and
I'm sure that does influence it. I'm sure that it must.
Things like even like Jessica Jones. It's like, well, how many Jessica Jones do you want to make?
At least she's a proper what if. I mean, like the common one from this set is one of like the most what ifs in there. It's like, what if she actually used her powers and had like Captain America based traits because she marries him and was a SHIELD agent as well. There's a lot of things about her that encapsulate what if should be, but I felt a lot of the things just didn't, because there was, I said, too much push for Spider-Man because there's a Spider-Man movie set coming out, Defenders because they get a TV show. It's nice. I'm not complaining. I like the set. I like more things in it than most, but I just wish there was more what if in it. And I'm just hoping that Elseworld is going to be, because Elseworld is not quite the same, is it? It's not a what if one minor thing happened to name this character's history different. Elseworld is going to be, what if a world existed where all the characters that you know and love were set in the Wild West or medieval times or.
Well, I think there's not as many DC sets, so hopefully you don't get quite so bored with the figures, because there's generally like 2 Marvel sets for every 1 DC one.
Yeah.
So hopefully, as long as they don't just make 50 different Batman in the set, I think we should be alright. Or if they do make them, at least make them different. Because there's lots of like things like Batman. It's like you could make that hundreds of different Batman and all do different weird stuff, or Wonder Woman or Superman. I'm quite happy with a set with a few different of the same figure in with the same name, but do different things.
Yeah.
But anyway, just before we finish the set, do we want to just mention a Merodroid, because that's a case incentive for the. We have his dial as well, and that sort of finishes off the set review.
We're not going to talk about the actual dial, because not going to play that, are we? We're just going to get on with the thing that people want, right?
His retaliation.
Well, I will say there is a little rule. There is a little errata on him. There's a 100-point dial. It actually says 125 point on the base of the figure, but is 100 points, and it is not hugely terrible.
No, far from it for 100 points.
Dial. It's just annoying. It's just, you really need like some way of not getting shot to bits as a Colossal if you want to get in there, and he probably hasn't got that. So yes, anyway, we're going to do with the Colossal Retaliation Click, because it's the only one you'll ever see him on. Am I just doing this?
Yeah, you can leave.
Okay, I've got his dial in front of us. Anyway, so his stats are poor compared to most Retaliators, and it's obviously the attack value that you're looking at the most, and that is only a 9 attack. He just has Close Combat Expert, but you'll never ever use that unless it is another Colossal you're attacking, or unless you have some way of changing his size. So you can use in something like the Atom ID card, for example, or something like that, or Mr. Mixelplix, then you might actually get use out of it. But anyway, the Retaliator is give him a free action, blah blah blah, just like everybody else's. He's making a close combat attack targeting the chosen character and all of the characters in 2 squares. Hit characters are dealt 3 damage instead of normal damage. But after actions resolve, you place your chosen character in any square within 6 squares in line of fire of a Merodroid. So that is basically just moving somebody around quite a bit. You can move them up to probably 10. Well, it's 10 because it can be colossal. It can be 3 squares away. You've got the side of his base, and then you've got 6 squares behind him. So, and he's only 15 points. I forgot to mention. So although he's unlikely to ever hit anything with his 9 attack, he does have an effect that none of the others do, and you can suddenly yoink out, somebody's attacker from the rest of his team and put him next to your team and then beat his face in, really.
I quite like the name of the colossal retaliation power called Ragdoll Throw.
Ragdoll Throw.
It's quite literally what he's doing.
And his keywords are just fantastic.
His keywords are nice. He's got past, robot, scientist, skeleton crew, which you'll never see, and soldier. So he does fit into quite a few teams. And I think going back to what we were talking about last week, when we talked about tactics in using like cheap figures just to bait people to attack them or to try and winkle them out from the defensive positions, that combines quite well with him, because if you're thrown in the bystander and somebody goes, I'm just going to poison that to get rid of it, and suddenly he comes along, yonks out your poisoner and throws them 10 squares behind him. It's a really nasty effect. You're not dealing damage so much. Well, you might do if you get lucky. But that is just, you don't need to hit for that, and he's just, especially on an outdoor map where you can see everything.
Yeah.
I would not really want, even with you wouldn't want to do it with an ID character, because then they would just disappear off the map because they'd be too far away. But if you had anything, if you have your little kill box set up or something, and then just placing them where you want to place them, and then just kill them, really effective, I think.
Well,
yeah, I agree.
That is me with him. Unless anybody else wants to, I don't really care about the fact he's got 16 defense and toughness. Because you're gonna get that retaliation off once. But it'll be brutal.
Are we gonna have a quick talk about the other 2 things that were leaked today?
Well, let's finish these.
That's the what if review. Yeah, we're going to go on to other news. So,
alright. So, the other news then, as far as I know, is I think Sean's mentioned there's a couple of other bits and bobs, but he listed them off, and none of them excited me. So I'm sure he'll tell you in a bit. But we've got the Dormammu and the Pog Serpent Spider-Man and Serpent Punishers revealed. The Spider-Man is 15 points. Both have a trait which gives them improved movement, hindering terrain, and Blades Close Fangs. Spider-Man is 10 movement with hypersonic speed, 11 attack, 18 defense with super senses, indomitable, and 2 damage. And the Punisher is 6 range, 10 movement with sidestep, 11 attack, 17 defense with energy shield deflection, indomitable, and 2 damage, range combat expert. They both have the animal keyword, but of course it doesn't matter anymore because they are bystanders, so it doesn't trigger anything exciting about them. But they're just a really good 15 points. I'd play the pair.
Yeah, I like them. I like them a lot.
Well, they're just point fillers. I mean, you probably see them more on theme teams just because they don't break theme. So otherwise, you might be going, well, I'll play the Atom instead, which you might get more bang for your buck out of. But yeah, if you're playing a theme team and you think, I've got 15 points to try and fill, you've now got, I can play Henry, I can play one of these guys, I can play 2 of them. I don't think they're unique either, are they?
No, I don't think so.
You can fit in a couple of them. I mean, probably the Punisher is slightly better, unless you've got some way of bumping up Spidey's damage.
Yeah.
But even just run up hypersonic somebody and then stand next to them. I've got an 18 super senses, and I'm going to blade you next turn if you don't move or if you don't take care of us. They both got
Yeah.
Indom as well, haven't they?
Yeah, they're both in Dome, yeah.
Yeah, so... I mean, they're very good for points. I'm slightly annoyed that the keywords don't do anything, because I would like to play them on Animal Team.
I mean, I guess the only thing, the only benefit you'll get is if you wanted a theme. Oh, you don't get theme team prob with Animal Team, do you? Because it's generic. So, yeah.
And yeah, well, bystanders can't use that even if, if they're specifically bystanders, then they can't use theme prob, even if they do have named theme team.
Yeah,
so you might, I mean, unless you have things that key off sharing a keyword, then the keyword's really neither here nor there.
Maybe the rules team needs to speak to the design team.
Well, it was a recent ruling, so obviously they've designed other things where they've given, slightly annoyed me. But anyway, never mind. They're good, and we should mention that they are participation prizes, aren't they?
They are. It's one bystander token, but it's double-sided.
All right, is it?
Yeah.
And how many? Do you know how many here in a kit?
2-3 Dormammus.
There you go.
Which is, I believe, first Fellowship and Judge, but depends on where you've run and what they're planning on doing with them. But speaking of Dormammu, let's talk about Dormammu. He's awesome.
Yes. He's the most. He's 35 points for Colossal Retaliation. I mean, I don't know if we'll focus on that dial, and then that's the only one I'm interested in. So that does make him the most expensive Colossal Retaliator. However, he's
the best.
He is. I think he is one of the best, if not the best. He has Mystic's team ability. I'm just trying to quickly read it. I haven't read it off my phone.
I'll read them through.
He's the equal. He is the cheapest Mystics, equal to Spectre.
Yes.
The 35-point Spectre. So if you're looking at a wildcard abuse, he's obviously a good potential option for that.
He's also got a bunch of traits to go with it as well. So if you're playing the 35-point version, he has willpower as a trait. He's got another one called Deal Maker, so he can't be re-rolled, but when you attack, he rolls 3 dice, removes 1. The result is the other 2, 11 attack, 2 damage, which basically reads similar to the Atoms Colossal Retaliation, but it's not. It's targeted chosen. Yeah, so he hits a chosen character and all people around him, again ignoring shape change substances. He also ignores Mystic ability. So he doesn't ignore combat reflexes, so it's similar but not identical. But he deals 2 penetrating damage instead of his normal 1, and after it's resolved, he can move any number of those single base hit characters into each other's squares. So he can essentially just, if he hits say 3 people, he can rearrange them into each other's squares as he likes. But it's just really the fact he's got 11 attack and rolls 3 dice and is going to hit all the time. Yeah. And he's given Mystics to your theme team, your wildcarders, I think is.
Wildcards, yeah. And he's got a 19 defense as well, which isn't to be sniffed at.
No, he's good.
With toughness.
And Mystics as well, so even if worst case he goes up and fails, he's still doing 1 damage to someone.
Yeah.
And just tying him up. He's not a flyer though. I don't know if the Dormammu normally flies about, but anyway, he has to walk around phase and fly squares, which basically means that he's probably never moving very much.
Carry.
Phase up, he still can carry a little bit. Yeah,
if he's doing nothing else, he's got willpower anyway, so he can do action, clear, action, and still do his class retaliation because it's free. I've got enough movement out of the Superman robot when I've been actually carrying 2 people and just getting the 4 move. I still feel like I get enough movement out of him for free, basically.
Has he not got sidestep as well?
Just that, I think.
He got 5 moves.
That's all going to change though, coming new rules.
-1 for each character that you're carrying.
And just because you've got flight doesn't necessarily mean you can carry a smaller and a standard.
No, each one provides you with a passenger symbol of 1, and they do not stack. You just get the best version of it. so you'll just carry one person, so he doesn't really care about that,
Yeah.
and he'll be moving 4, which is fine because he's not doing that than anything else, to be honest, other than giving mystics to your team. That's
Yeah. Do you want to have a look at other dials? Go on, have a look at the 150, because I think he's not terrible at 150. He's got 9 clicks, he's got running shot, precision strike, impervious 4 damage. Again, he's rolling 3 attack dice at all times.
that's so crazy.
His attack rolls can't be rerolled.
Yeah.
Can't be rerolled, so you don't necessarily need. Well, I'm not going to bother with problem with rolling 3 dice.
That's probably going.
Yeah.
He's got like 9 clicks with a stop click, so he's still not too bad. Obviously, he is a giant colossal, so you can see him at all times and shoot him. But he does have mystics, so you will be taking some damage. I was looking at that Raven as well from like Wonder Woman, because he has got the mystical team, so you could move him around with Raven if you want to give him like more movement ability. Obviously, her prob does not like that useful, but you can use it for other figures on your team, I suppose.
And then the 250.1, that's got to be, for me, one of the worst 100-point upgrades for a character. I mean, that is poor.
Being like 25 point per click for those 4
basically the one of them's
really
worth it, and he gets running shot, pulse wave, but that's that.
Yeah, and you wouldn't really bother with the other ones.
That's just poor.
Especially because he can be outwitted. He doesn't get the power cosmic
350.
until 350.
Yeah.
So I would never, 150 is not terrible.
250 years.
But I don't think I'd play him at any of the other ones.
And 350 is outside of the range.
Maybe
really, isn't it? No one plays that. It's nice though. But
yeah.
I like him.
So expect everybody to be bringing. These are all sealed events, so aren't they?
They are. I mean, that's the recommended format using the what if boosters. So I know that's how we've discussed running it at our local venue, running it as a 2 booster sealed. So yeah,
because it'll be quite competitive for like trying to win him as a prize.
Yeah, well, it's towards the back end of the month, I believe, when it comes out. So
did you pull Goblin King or Spider-Man? Oh no! Oh well, that was cute.
Oh well, yeah.
Better have your trades box on you.
So should be good. Looking forward to it.
Right. Is anything else?
There's just a few other things. Nothing major to note. Is nothing interesting. I was perusing, should we say, the solicits before we started recording, and I've noticed that what was going to be the Ferris Airjet Colossal OP is in July is now been changed to the Invisible Jet Colossal OP. Now, correct me if I'm wrong. I'm not a big DC fan, but the Invisible Jet is Wonder Woman's jet, isn't it?
Yes.
Yeah, because when you click on the actual solicit, it does say that the Invisible Jet Colossal OP kit includes an experimental jet, just like Hal Jordan flew. But no, that's the Ferris Airjet, so I'm not quite sure what's going on with that. And then there was just some other stuff about they'd announced in November. I noticed there was coming up. There's a Mojo World OP kit, which had previously not been announced, with Dazzler, Longshot, and Lila Cheney, I think her name is, if that's how you pronounce it. And then there's some more information around the Star Trek set that's coming out. I didn't realise that was going to be a 5-figure booster set.
It's a real set and everything. Modern age and all that jazz.
Yeah. So 13 common figures, 12 uncommon, 11 rares, 10 super rares, 4 cases.
Kill me now.
So much the same as the What If set. There's a release DOP kit where you get an Evil Kirk figure. A starter set that features Captain Kirk, Mr. Spock, Scotty, Bones, Uhuru, and Sulu. And then there's also going to be a premium map of the Starship Enterprise being released. So that was it, really.
Okay. Well, time is cracking on, so
it is.
We've got team builds to. I will go first then. Okay, Peace Machine.
It's your pick,
Right,
We
Chris.
talked
Did you
about
want
him
to
quite a
go
lot.
first?
Let's not mention him too much again.
Do you want to
He's
go
50
first, Chris? Would
points.
it be your
This
pick?
is like a 300-point team I'm building. I put in 75-point Goblin King because he's the only points value I'll ever play, Matt. Just for support powers more than anything else. I'm playing 2 Sunfires at 50 points. These are the ones with one shot pulse wave. They've got 5 clicks. They will take a little bit to kill them. I've got Chipmunk Hunk because you hit him for like 3 damage and he ends up with Perplex and his dial doesn't really change very much. You don't want to punch him. I'm playing Colossal Sinestro, 25 points with a Retaliator, and I'm playing 15-point Ameridroid as well for yonking out purposes. So basically, I'm going to say TK up Chipmunk Hunk, and he's going to get some perplexes on him from Golden King and Colossal Sinestro, and he will try and quake you just to annoy you. You then have to hit him twice to kill him with Peace Machine on the map. And when you do, you're going to get a Merodroid yonking out whoever hit him, and then the Sunfires and Goblin King are going to pulse with him to death. I've got space for about 3 ID cards as well, which I thought, just some cheap guys like Heroclix and things like that to try and get you Perplex and Prob.
Nasty.
That's me.
Cool. Do you want to go next?
So I just went with just a daft. I thought I'm not good enough to organise this team yet. I need to play it and see it before I can round out who I needed. So I just went with a daft team. So I went with Iron Man, the 100-point Iron Man from the new set, the founding member, the Iron Man, the 55-point set one from Avengers Defenders War, Iron Man, the 45-point one from the start of the set for Civil War, Peace Machine, and Ironheart, and then a sideline, a round table that had the round table, 4 ID cards, which I went with a shield, a little shield, level 1, a big shield, big level 7 shield, Spider-Man, and a Doctor Strange, and then the rest of my sideline is filled up with the various Iron Men I've mentioned before. So the Dr. Stark Iron Man for the little one to turn into, and I can't remember what the 55-point Iron Man was that you turn into. I'm being daft. The 55-point Iron Man that you can, the Captain Britain one that you can do the kind of cheeky extra running shot with.
Yeah.
And that was it really. It was just a case of a bunch of Iron Men that got together, and Ironheart because I think she's 25 points and she's.
You could probably for that armor keyword, that Colossal Sinestro is not a bad option for 25 points with a Perplex and the Retaliator, because you're going to get use out the Retaliators quite a bit. I think where things not dying quite so easily.
Might be a.
Anyway.
Okay. So, well, my team, I went with the armor keyword, and I built around that. So I used Cable from Deadpool and the X-Force at 120 points, Peace Machine at 50, Sinestro at 25, Stiltman from Superior Foes at 65. To make him colossal so he can also colossal retaliate, the pocket tank, because why not, and the teleporter with 5 ID cards, shield level 7, the Atom, Green Arrow, Swordsman, and Doctor Strange. So yeah, that was my team.
I think we both failed to mention that this specific Doctor Strange is the 50-point one, isn't it?
It is, yes. Yeah.
Yeah, that's the same thing.
Of course, yeah. And the 25-point Atom from Joker's Wild, I went for, and just the low point Green Arrow and the rare.
Although you're limiting, I'm not sure if you want to play like Nick when you're like
obviously Nick,
making him shoot less hard.
Yeah, because I can always.
Hard. not
Well,
spectacularly.
my
but,
Nick, whenever I shoot him, always does 6 penetrating damage.
Shooting the
I
highest
never
damage figure,
shoot Nick
that's
without doing
basically
6
it.
penetrating damage. I don't know what damage your Nick does, but
That's because you specifically built to that. Not that one, clearly.
Anyway, moving on.
yeah, I didn't have very much rules anyway. The one rule that I did have
due to
very
time
quickly, can I say
constraints,
it?
Are we skipping
Because I've heard it
rules and
twice on
tactics
2
this
different
week?
separate podcasts.
I know what you're going to say then.
About using like the point denial thing, was using the traits
Yeah,
from you know how you were like
I
you're
know
talking
what you're
about like
saying,
Dr.
yeah.
Stark or whatever his name is. Yeah, you're gonna go, oh, I've got 150 point Doctor Strange. I can quickly swap my 45.1 and you can only get
Yeah, from an
45 points.
alternate
Ha ha
universe
ha.
kind of thing. Yeah.
Actually, it doesn't work that way. Replacement characters, if you replace a higher point character to a low point character and the low point character is then KO'd, your opponent will score for whatever the higher point character was work. Yes. And I'm just correcting that because I've heard 2 people say it on different podcasts.
The original points.
There is not a huge amount of other rules. It's, so that's it.
Okay.
I believe it's your turn to pick, Sean.
It is. Sorry. Yes, it is. I tried to skip over that there. So I'm not picking any of the new figures from the new set. I'm picking a figure from one of the monthly OP kits. I would quite like to see what we can do with Miss America from Falcon and the Young Avengers OP kit, the 95.1.
Yeah.
And we'll try and build a figure around that, a team around that figure for the next episode.
Okay, I could do that ish.
I'm thinking she's got Young Avengers. There's a few Young Avengers in the new set.
I'm thinking there's pretty much exactly one team that you build out of that, and it's basically just
Shoelace.
What's the face? Shoelace. So Old Lace and Gertrude.
Yeah, Old Lace, Shoelace.
Yeah, it's basically
how she will live forever be known.
I think is pretty much the be all and end all. But yeah, I will give that a go.
Cool.
Cosmic keyword.
So we do have some questions that have been asked. So we've got, because I posted on the Facebook page, just send me your questions and what have you, and I've had 5 questions in total. So I'll ask them and you can answer them. So the first 2 are from Nick, who plays at our local venue. They're quite straightforward questions, quite straightforward answers, so here we go. Looking ahead, how do you think plasticity will work with peanut bases against the new hypersonic rules? I'm not quite sure what he's asking there, because it'll
I think it'll work similar.
Exactly the same way.
You break away, but once you have broke away, you're not going to have to break away from each individual thing adjacent to them. I think. Yeah,
it's just it doesn't matter which, it doesn't matter that you're a peanut base. It's you have to break away. But obviously with hypersonic in the new rules, it's a movement,
an attack,
then an attack, then you break away to continue your movement.
Oh,
so,
thank the Lord.
Yeah.
It's not going to be any different. You just got to. It's not so much what the plasticity is. You just got to know how multi-base movement works.
Yeah.
So anything that's adjacent to either any of your squares, you're going to have to try and break away from. And I don't know. I don't understand what difference it makes that it is now. Really, there's no difference. You just got to know how the movement works on multi-base figures.
I think it's more confusion over the new rules and will it have a massive impact? Because the follow-up question that he's asked is regarding the change to leadership, and will it affect how Earth X Captain America's leadership works?
No.
Not at all. Yeah, work exactly the same way.
Yeah.
Only you get an extra action token.
You basically get the action without having to roll. I think
without
rolling, little thing, or you'll have the option of just using it as normal to get an adjacent figure to, who's got much higher points. That's about it.
Anybody. Does it say instead? Is this wording like instead of the normal effect you can do this instead? Or whatever? Well, without saying instead too much.
Instead of.
No, it's not instead of.
When it succeeds instead.
Choose one or the other.
Okay.
Extra good.
I'm not sure you can choose because it doesn't say you may instead like some of the others. So when he succeeds instead, remove an action token from up to 150 points of unfriendly characters. It's not a choice you're making, I don't think. It can't be rerolled, yeah. So sometimes it says, I'm sure, I'm not that sure, but when it says instead, it normally means that you may instead, so you've got a choice to make of, does this happen, or you can do something differently.
It doesn't alter the fact that you get the +1 though.
No, it's not going to change that. It's just like, he can't use leadership normally. He gets a different leadership rather than, I'm trying to find something else. Right, say on Gertrude and Old Lace, when her wording is like, when they do and succeed, you may instead remove an action token. So there's an option where instead of the normal effect of leadership, you can choose to do it, say, to somebody with a particular keyword regardless of agency of points value. Well, Captain America does not have the may in the sentence, so he does not get the option of using leadership for the normal effect. He gets it for whatever his effect says.
Yeah.
But I don't think the new rules doesn't really
affect it.
Yes, so say there was a 155 point figure standing next to him with the shield keyword, he would not be allowed to take the token off him unless the wording on that on HC Realms is incorrect, because he can only take a token off up to 150 points. So you can't use your normal leadership.
Yes.
Because it does not say may. He has a different leadership rather than a lot of the others would say may. Well, that's what normally it would be. It's not an optional. It's not an optional thing.
So next questions. There's three because two of them weren't answered last time. From Malcolm Rush, the man in Japan. First question is: what is your go-to Heroclix figure of all time and in modern?
It's quite easy for me. It was Nightwing from the 10-year anniversary set. He was just the best piece ever. He had I'm trying to pull him back up because I can't even remember how ridiculous he was. He's just 94 points. He was a wild card. He got to choose a friendly keyword, and he had that keyword for the rest of the game. And he could use leadership, but could only remove action tokens from characters that could use a team that they had to share the team ability with him essentially. But he had charge, 11 attack, 70 defense. He was just a mental. Improved movement, hindrance, terrain, and characters. Batman team ability, every keyword you could ever want. He was so good they had to errata him because initially when he was made, when I was playing him, he just picked a keyword and had it during team build. So you could put him in any team and it didn't break theme. And it also you just gave him the utility belt, got it. He took one action, went to the right click on it, carried him up. The turn after he could charge with 5 attack, flurry, 5 damage, flurry, 13 attack, and a 6 move charge where he ignored everything other than blocking terrain. Essentially, he was just the craziest.
I don't think putting the having prep time utility belt really. You can put that on anybody, and it's I've got +2 to my stats, and I've got
charge, and his numbers were good already, and it was cheap enough, and it was the improved movement that I think that made it that made it for me. Yeah, he was just. Cool. I love Nightwing anyway, but he's my favourite for that one.
What about in current modern?
Modern. I don't know. Probably was the Jet, but it's gone. Maybe shifting focus Superman. think I like that piece. I don't go to it as often as I wish I could, but I mean, I'm more of a DC guy. Like Justice League. I think he's probably my favourite for all of it, really. And he's just too many options.
Cool. Chris, what about you? Of all time and in modern?
I'm probably going to have to say Ant-Man, because he's a figure that I've played probably more of Morphine Ant-Man than anything, although he's no longer modern now. I'm not sure if I have a favourite figure in modern, because he's just rotated. I quite like Bat Knight. I've been playing a lot of him. I've been playing a lot of Commissioner Gordon. I don't know, really. I can't really say I've got a favourite one at the moment. I'll get obsessed with one figure and just keep playing it. So I haven't yet obsessed with one figure as yet.
Well, I'm pretty much the same as you. I mean, my favourite figure of all time, and I didn't realise it was my favourite figure of all time until he's recently retired, was Justin Seifert. I loved him. I loved the fact that you could like just play him with some big beefy big dumb robot, and just I couldn't care what that big dumb robot was. It was just the fact that he allowed them to move and attack twice in a turn potentially. I miss him. I miss Justin.
Him with a truck.
in terms of current modern, I don't know. I don't think I've got one. I'm still in mourning for Justin, so I can't say I've got a favourite in modern currently. I'm a bit partial to the shift and focus Deadpools, I guess, but I wouldn't say they're my favourite. It's just I don't know. I haven't really got one currently in modern. Next question. What Heroclix piece do you hate to play, but seems like it's always on your team?
Nick. That piece of garbage needs to be burnt in hell. But
he's not as bad since the drones have rotated, to be fair.
I don't think it's changed a huge amount, really. I think by the time, by the kind of end of the rotation, even the drones had kind of fell out of favour, and I just detest him. But I obviously have to play him because otherwise you're just being stupid.
Yeah.
Well, I don't think you have to play him, because it might be you're not playing a 120-point figure nowadays. I think there are teams that work without him. That animal team I was playing didn't have him. I don't really dislike Nick. I think he's just sometimes he may be necessary for punching through Invincible more than anything.
Okay, well, here's the question: Is it Dale? Is it Nick that you hate, or is it Nick off the ID card that you hate?
Oh, no, you're right. It's Nick off the ID card. I think if it was for me 120 points because he has no move and attack, that is fine. I could definitely live with that. My issue is, of course, you can just kick him out regardless of what happened so far in the game, and here's the brand spanking new first click does
for 5 points.
1 million damage for 5 points is just stupid.
I thought you said he only does 3 penetrating.
Team is. I was specifically referring to that team.
Yeah. What about you? What about you, Chris?
I don't really have a figure that I hate that I play, because why would I do that? I only tend to play figures that I like. Sometimes maybe things are like auto include if maybe it's Nick if you've got a 120-point figure, but I don't think anything else.
Yeah, okay.
I don't dislike him. I just think he's necessary. I'm trying to avoid playing him if I can, but I don't normally play figures that I don't like. I think I don't play Heroclix enough to start doing that. I'd rather play things I like.
Well, I have a figure that springs to mind, and I don't always play him, but I have played him quite a bit, and I'm kind of trying not to play him now. But he's the temptation to just whack him on a team is very, very high. But I absolutely detest him, and it's Felix Faust.
Yeah.
Absolutely detest him, but I have played him in. I played him in a couple of WKOs last year and this year. I don't like playing him. He's not fun to play. He's not fun to play against. But you kind of think, I'm going to come up against him, and the only way to beat him. Or I did have that mentality. I don't now, because we've made an agreement we're not going to play him anymore. And yeah, Faust is just obscene.
I just make sure I can kill him by turn 2. That's the goal. Have a theme team every time, so you get to pick him up.
Now that the tanks are thing, it's easier.
My way is just I take the moral high ground. I look down on people who
I know you do, Chris. That's why I'm trying to stop playing them.
So if people beat me with Faust, I don't actually count as a loss.
So the last question from Malcolm is: what do you want WizKids to do for the next 15 years of the game?
Give me my Power Ranger Clix.
That's not going to happen.
Just keep going. Just keep chugging along. You're doing fine. Maybe in like 2 years, bring back resources. Just rotate through your little extra bits and bobs you're slotting in. But seriously, just get me our Power Ranger Clix. We've had Turtles. Who the hell cares? Can't be that much harder to get Sabana, whoever owns them, to give us up.
I can't see it happening.
No, I just think they should just keep on. They're doing all right. I think that there's some like missteps, just like having us complaining about the last set. But I think they are sort of on the right track. I just think same with Dale on the resources. The problem with taking resources and stuff out is just everybody just goes for, well, I'm just going to play the most effective piece. So you'll just see 99% of people just going, I'm going to play Jakeem or Goblin King and a Goblin King. And you'll see that at Worlds this weekend. I wouldn't do it myself, but it's easy. It's like you don't need to think too hard about building your team. I just put on some really effective pieces. I don't really need to think about the interactions because I've just got hundreds of powers to choose from anyway.
Now.
So I don't need to worry about.
Goblin King won't make top 4. I'll put my foot in my mouth and say.
Well, no, because you can just play him at 75 points. He's like, I wouldn't play him at 175. I'm not really sure about him at that.
Definitely won't.
75 points. He just fits in too many teams, and it's like saying, I need to fit in TK. I need to fit in Perplex, I need to fit in Prob, and Goblin King just goes, hello, and a really good secondary attacker as well.
Alright, maybe I think in my head when we're talking about it, I'm always thinking 10 Paul, 175 point version.
No, I think for him, I think 75 is his best value. And then you can fit him in with Jakeem, and then because Jakeem needs, that little bit of backup. If you really want to, you can play Jakeem, Goblin King, and Faust.
And then you will look down on everyone and go, you did not really win that.
I think I'd be more tempted to go, instead of Faust, go Green Arrow and an entity. Maybe, or even just Green Arrow and the Supreme Intelligence, and then a tank.
Yeah.
Well, you could do that, but you could just play anything. But I think Goblin King and Jakeem, pretty well. It's the same thing as with Super Skrull. Super Skrull and Engineer used to be a thing. We used to play them two together because Engineer was just like all the support powers that Super Skrull needed. So,
just going back to what you said,
it's a shame that WizKids decided to bring out those two figures and make. Just because I just think I don't like to use the word lazy, but I do think it is just an easy option for people just to play them. I don't necessarily think it's the best option, but you will see them a ton.
Just going back to the answer to that question, Chris, when you're on about resources, and you as well, Dale. I mean, we don't know what's going to come out of the Thor set, do we? With all these hammers and objects that are coming out.
Well, there probably won't be resources. There'll be like special objects or something. it may be that they're going to try and push them.
I'm assuming they'll work
special
very
access.
similar to how Sugarman's works. They'll all have their own individual
Right.
effect, where it's like, you can equip this, you've got it, and now you crit on a 10, or I don't know, Thor's Hammer, you get 6 range and edge explosion, and if you punch someone, you always deal knockback, or...
I would be worried if they gave Charge a running shot. Then I would
Here we
just
go
be
again.
saying,
Is it just going to be Book of the Skull again? Yeah.
yeah, but it's just like a power action to
Yeah.
equip them. I mean, it wouldn't be too bad. I just think then it would be like over the top a bit, and you might as well bring back resources if you're going to do.
I'm in agreement with you. I think
really powerful.
I think I'd quite like to see resources come back, maybe in a couple of years. I quite liked playing resources, depending on what that resource was, of course. I think I did like playing the batteries, but there was an element of that where it kind of just, you had the Green Lantern battery was just ridiculous in terms of limiting free actions.
For me, the bit I miss, it's not so much the resources themselves, but that era, the War of Light, where it owned everything. Every team had an entity. Every team had a battery. At least there was variety amongst that. Yes, you had to see an entity on every team, and yes, it was every single one had a battery. But at least there was 5 batteries that were used quite often. There was teams that basically took advantage of almost every single one, and there was, a lot more figures became viable because you had these attachments on. I'm not saying go back to that exact thing, because that was awful, but how about putting in some more equipment stuff so that more characters can become viable because of it, or have a lot of similar maybe resources that are a resource that you build in a different way, so it doesn't always have to have basically one way that it works and that's it.
Well, the things like with ID, once ID cards rotate, then there's a lot of other figures get thrown in the bin as well, because you just go, well, I'm not going to play that figure again. I only used to play him on an ID card, so I'm not going to play him again. So it's just having resources, having little ID cards, things like that, actually get more use out of your figures, because you get so many hundreds of figures a year, and then how many of them do you play? So just, having things that make other figures viable, having things that you can use other figures, sitting on your sideline, doing stuff, just to get the most use out of things. So I'm hoping that WizKids will not go to just figures on the map, because everybody, there's a lot of people say that, and then they're probably the same people that look at the competitive results and go, that was boring. Why does everybody play Jakeem and Goblin King?
Yeah.
Well, there's a reason, because they're the most point efficient.
Yeah, for me, I want a variety in my resources. I want my equipment stuff to give other characters, kind of fill in the blanks that certain characters have, so that I can have more variety in the actual teams rather than just everything being Jakeem. And the ID cards, I wouldn't hold your breath on them going for. They've got a few years left in them, because there's so many. There's quite a few convention ones, which not all of them you're going to see a lot of play of, but there's an awful lot of them that are really, like, basically Spider-Man is just, there's 1,000 Spider-Man, that always will be, so there's always going to be somebody using that thing. It's maybe not all,
Something needs to fill that slot of resources. Whether they tone it down a bit's fine, but something needs to be there. Otherwise, just going off figures ends up just being like boring. People just play the same thing over and over again.
Worth it.
It's not good for the competitive scene if you want to play competitive.
Well, guys, it's
it's
been recording for a while now, so it's getting late. So I don't know if there's anything else that any of you want to say or want to cover. We should just maybe wrap the show up there.
I think we'll wrap it up there.
Cool. So that's it then. So thanks for listening, and until next time, bye.
Bye.
Goodbye.